Order. Welcome, commissioners, staff, petitioners, and citizens to the October 8th Mishawaka Plan Commission meeting. Introduction of staff. To my right, we have Donna Burkhart, our administrative planner. Hello. Next to Donna is Shad Annis, our associate planner. All right. To my left, we have Derek Spear, our city planner. Ken Prince, our executive director. And in the front row, we have David Bent, our legal counsel. Hi, David. Donna, would you please call the roll?
Chris Jamrose. Here. Drew Cash.
Here.
Woody Emmons. Sam Cressy.
Here.
Drew Johnson.
Here.
Randy Frost.
Here.
Kathy White Gaddich. Mike Portalese.
Here.
Chris Torty.
Here. Thank you all for being patient on our 7-minute delay. The previous meeting went a little bit longer. Rules of procedure are up on the board. Note that we do all of our speaking at the podium so we can hear your name and address clearly, and Donna can take that in our records. Patience for those attending online. I think there may be somebody online, not sure, but that always causes us a little confusion, but we'll work through it. First, we'll hear a presentation by the petitioner. For each item, we'll ask those participating in the room to speak first, followed by those participating online. Then we will hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the request, then those who wish to speak against the request. If you just have a general question and you don't know whether you're for or against, I suggest that you come up during the against the request. We'll accumulate all of those questions that we have, and then we'll get a right of rebuttal by the petitioner to answer all those questions. We'll close the public discussion. We'll have a commission discussion and then a commission vote. So moving along, the previous month's minutes, August, were delivered to the commissioners. Were there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the August minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the previous minutes have passed. Is there a conflict of interest on any agenda items tonight with the commissioners? Hearing none, moves us right along to the first item, which is a petition. So petitions go to a council, so we'll be voting on this tonight and give a possible recommendation on this. Either way, is petition 24-09, a petition submitted by Vadim V. and Tatiana V. Lubin, requesting to rezone property at 3728 Lincoln Way East, Mishawaka, Indiana, from a C1 general commercial to R3 multifamily residential. Hi, is there somebody here to present this petition? Hi, come on up. Tell us about your plans.
Yes. So,
Oh, name and address first. I'm not following my own rules.
Evan Forsland and 1650 South Bend Avenue, South Bend.
Great.
The plans for the building is to make it, pretty much the second floor is going to be 2 apartments, and that's pretty much going to stay the same. It's already used as residential apartments. And the downstairs is around 2,000 square foot, and I'm going to separate that into 2 apartments. So there would be a total of 4 in the building. There's parking in the back. There's around 8 to 10 parking spots in the back. Since it was a daycare, there's an abundance of restrooms. There's like 7 or 8 restrooms in the building already. So the construction of it won't be too difficult to convert everything. And each unit is going to be on its own HVAC system. There's currently 3 systems in the building. I'll just be adding a 4th so that each unit has control of the temperature.
And when this was a C1, can you give me a little bit of history of that business and what it's been recently?
Yeah, it's been used as a daycare on the first floor, and second floor, to my understanding, it's always been used as a residential apartment.
Any other questions for Mr. Forsland?
Each unit will be around 1,000 square foot, maybe a little more. The building's around 4,500 square foot total.
And you say you do have parking for all of these residents
Yep, on the back. There's a playground, and then you can see a pavilion back there. I could always expand the parking if I needed to right there.
How much total parking do you have?
Around 8 to 10 parking spaces right now. There's angled parking, and then there's like parallel spots back there.
Perfect, thank you.
And there's there's a 2-stall attached garage, so I'm not even including that.
And
So,
what about trash?
trash, we would be ordering separate trash service per unit, so they have their own barrels.
And what's on the right and left side of this? Standard housing?
They're,
Single-family housing?
I am not sure.
I can't
One,
tell what's on the
yeah,
east
one is a
side.
house and one is another business.
Any other questions? Nope, thank you for your presentation.
All right.
Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of petition 24-09?
Hi, my name is Anthony Pericini, 119 Barrows Court, Mishawaka, Indiana, actually just down the road. My dad and I work with Coldwell Banker Commercial. I've been with them about 8.5 years. We are the listing brokers on the property. The owners ran the daycare themselves for many, many years, lived upstairs for many years, eventually moved out, converted it to apartments. We've tried multiple times with the current C1 zoning to have daycare uses come in. Over the years, especially post-COVID, a lot of those laws have changed for daycares, ministry type of uses, and it's made the cost for conversion and updating that to be substantial. And we've had at least probably 3 or 4 separate daycares, ministries come in, and with the different we've had state officials come in, all those child care type of officials from various groups, and they've basically, in the end, the cost has been way too substantial to update it to keep it as a daycare or a ministry.
Any questions? Nope. Thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else in the room wishing to speak in favor of petition 24-09? Is there anybody in the room or online wishing to speak in opposition to petition 24-09? Mr. Spear, is there any additional information?
No additional information.
And I'll close the public hearing, and if there's no discussion, or if there is discussion, let me know. No discussion, then I'll take a motion.
I make a motion to approve petition 2409.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose,
Yes.
Drew Cash,
Yes.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Drew Johnson,
Yes.
Randy Frost,
Yes.
Mike Portalese,
Yes.
Chris Doherty.
Yes, and petition 24-09 will move to the council with a favorable rating. Next item on the agenda is Plat 24-10, a request submitted by TACPP Princess City LLC seeking approval of the 2-lot Princess City Plaza minor subdivision. Hi.
Terry Lang from the Whiteman office. Our address is 1402 Mishawaka Avenue in South Bend. I represent the petitioner here. The petition before you is to allow for lots to be created over a particular building unit. There currently had been in the past leased units. There's been interest in purchasing that portion of the building that they are leasing so they can do their own maintenance and things necessary for that. In doing that, creating the plat, we were before the Board of Zoning Appeals just before this to get like a gazillion variances to leave everything just exactly the way it is for the plaza. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Mr. Lang?
Just curious, if you want to go back to the other picture, if this were to go through, that's Kohl's to the left, I'm assuming, yes? Would there ever be the scenario where parking would be, and the throughput over to Main Street would be restricted?
There are cross easements for parking and for
Okay.
access across all of them. And we've worked with the planning department to make sure that those were continued to go through in this platting process.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Plat 24-10? Hearing none, is there anybody in the room or online wishing to speak in opposition to Plat 24-10? Mr. Spear, is there any additional information on this?
No further information.
I'll close the public hearing, and any commissioners wish to speak, or I will take a motion.
I make a motion to approve plat 2410. I have it. Am I wrong?
Yep, 10.
2410. Second. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. The second was Sam. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Chamorros?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Mike Portalese?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and 2410 passes. Thank you. Moving along, brings us to Plat 24-11, a request submitted by ST Indian Ridge LLC seeking approval of the two-lot Indian Ridge Plaza minor subdivision. Mr. Lang.
Terry Lang from the Whiteman office. Our address is 1402 Mishawaka Avenue in South Bend, represent the petitioner. This plat is identical to the one before this. We're creating a couple of lots for the existing building space that's being leased. Again, this one was before the Board of Zoning Appeals earlier and got Chris a sore throat from speaking for all the variances that were required. We worked closely with the planning staff to make sure the cross-parking easements and access were continued through on the plat that we're creating for this minor sub. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
No questions?
Possibly.
Mr. Portalese.
Looking at the last picture, and it looks like a real irregular shape. I'm just curious why it's so irregular.
Well, those parcels were previously cut out that you see in white on that aerial map right there. The new parcels that we're creating, if you saw the plat portion, which I think is the next page, is adjacent to there, right there. You can kind of see the additional. Two of those parcels are not part of our plat, and they were previously cut out several years ago before it was required to go through the platting process. And now we're just splitting off an additional building site or two so that it can be tenant-owned instead of leasing.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other questions. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of Plat 24-11? Is there anybody in opposition to Plat 24-11? Any additional information?
None.
I'll close the public hearing and take a motion on 24-11.
Make a motion for approval of plat 2411.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Chamorros?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Mike Portalese?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and 24-11 passes. Thank you. Moving along, 24-12, a request submitted by Wilshire Plaza Limited Partnership seeking approval of the five-lot Wilshire Plaza Limited Partnership.
Terry Lang from the Whiteman office. Our address is 1402 Mishawaka Avenue in South Bend, representing the petitioner here. This is the third of the three shopping plazas that we had been contracted to work with. Exact same thing. We're creating additional lots so that tenants can own their space that they're in, and ownership can be done in that fashion. We are, in the same case here, providing cross-parking easements and access through each of the parcels as the way it's been maintained in the past. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
You know, I guess I do have one question. Lighting. There's, obviously, you've got different ownership areas in the parking lot. One area can be lit nicely, another area is not going to be lit possibly?
It's all going to be maintained in the fashion that it has been with regards to the utilities for lighting and all of that, the way the shopping center has been in the past.
Looking at the map, there's an area between Lot 4 and Lot 3 that's not labeled. I'm assuming that's McDonald's. Is that what's in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that it? All righty, thank you for the presentation. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of Plat 24-12? Hearing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to Plat 24-12? If there's no additional information, I'll close the public hearing and take a motion on 24-12.
Motion to accept 24-12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose,
Yes.
Drew Cash,
Yes.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Drew Johnson,
Yes.
Randy Frost,
Yes.
Mike Portalese,
Yes.
Chris Torty.
Yes, and Plat 24-12 passes. Thank you. Thank you. Moving along, Plat 24-13, a request submitted by Petcoff and Sons LLC seeking approval of the one-lot Petcoff and Sons LLC Second Edition.
Grigor Petkov, 1315 Highland Village Drive, Mishawaka, Indiana, 46545.
Chris Eberhardt with Arcos Design, 117 Lincoln Way West, Mishawaka, Indiana, 46544. So we're looking at getting a subdivision of combining the two existing lots. The one on the west side is now currently a parking lot for Petcove and Sons, Greg's Automotive. And then the old Reggio's building has already been zoned C4 to allow for the future use of AutoZone. But at the time of the merging of the prior lots on the grass side, the Reggio's building was not purchased yet. So now to accommodate a new proposed automobile service shop, we are looking to combine the two plats into one to utilize the setbacks for the corner lots.
Questions on this?
Do you also own the property across Jefferson, across the street?
Yeah, I own Greg's Automotive on the north side of Jefferson.
Okay.
Corner of Merrifield and Jefferson.
So I see it looks like 3 lots maybe there. Can I ask why you're not making those contiguous as well? Is there a reason that you're doing one side and not the other?
So I want to develop I want to take the Regios out and develop a shop there. And so it was recommended that I combine the two. That's really the reason we're doing that.
Okay. This is probably for zoning purposes, so your zoning will carry over from the first lot
Yes.
to the second?
Yeah, they're both zoned C4 currently right now.
Okay.
It was recommended to combine the two when we were proposing the development.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions? Thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else in the room that wished to speak in favor of petition 24-13? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to Plat 24-13? Is there any additional information, Mr. Spear?
None.
Then I will close the public hearing, and if there's no comments from the commissioners, I will take a motion on 24-13.
I make a motion to approve petition 2413.
I second.
Second was Randy. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose,
Yes.
Drew Cash,
Yes.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Drew Johnson,
Yes.
Randy Frost,
Yes.
Mike Portalese,
Yes.
Chris Torty.
Yes. And petition 24, or Plat 24-13 passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Plat 24-14, a request submitted by Beacon Health Systems, Inc., seeking approval of the one-lot Beacon Church Street minor subdivision. Hi.
Good evening, Angela Smith with Dan Charner and Associates, offices located at 1643 Commerce Drive in South Bend. This is actually a plat to combine several lots that are currently under the ownership of Beacon Health Systems to kind of unify it for development. As part of the plat, we are also working on a shared parking easement that will allow for some public parking for the city, a utility easement, and a sidewalk easement. So as we were doing all that, we felt that the subdivision was the best way to handle that. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Commissioners, no questions? Thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of Plat 24-14? Hearing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to Plat 24-14? Is there any additional information?
None.
And I will close the public hearing, and if there's no other comments, I'll take a motion on 24-14.
Motion to approve plat 2414.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose? Yes. Drew Cash?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Mike Portalese?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and 2414 passes. Brings us the next item for consideration, which is a replat 24-04. The petitioner requests to withdraw this. All those in favor of withdrawing 24-04 say aye.
Aye.
And that is withdrawn. Moving along. Replat 24-05, a request submitted by Cleveland Road Mirador Holdings LLC seeking approval of the one-lot replat of Caldera on Cleveland Minor Subdivision. Hi.
Hi, Tessa Heddle with Kimley Horn and Associates. Our address is 500 East 96th Street, Suite 300 in Indianapolis, Indiana. We are seeking this replat just to remove some previously dedicated utility and cross-access easements that are running throughout the site. These easements were for a previous development that didn't come to fruition, and they conflict with our proposed development, which we're also here for site plan for. So, yeah, we'll take any
That's
questions.
it? All right. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of replat 24-05? Hearing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to replat 24-05? Any additional information, Mr. City Planner?
None.
And I will close the public hearing. And is there anybody that wishes to speak, or I'll take a motion on replat 24-05?
Motion to accept replat 2405.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Second was Mike Portalese, I believe. It's kind of a tie, but I'll give it to Mike on this
Okay.
one. You're next, Randy. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose? Yes. Drew Cash?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Mike Portalese?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and petition 24-05 passes. Next, we have a site plan that also the petitioner has requested to withdraw. It is site plan 24-10. All those in favor of withdrawing that from tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
And that is withdrawn from the agenda. Moving on is another site plan, so there's no public hearing with this. A request submitted by Cleveland Road Mirador Holdings LLC, the Marion Group seeking final site plan approval for Vivera Oakwood for a 103,552 square feet assisted living facility on vacant land located north of Cleveland Road and 390 degrees west of Fur Road. Hi.
Hi, Tessa Heddle again, Kimley Horn and Associates at 500 East 96th Street, Suite 300, Indianapolis, Indiana. I think Jared with Marion Group is also online. I don't know if he'd like to speak first. If he's not, I can continue.
Sure, if I may.
Yes, name and address?
Yes, my name is Jared Burgess with the Marion Group. Our office is at 11701 Commonwealth Drive in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm joining remotely this evening with our project manager, John Payne from Marion Construction. Just want to thank Plan Commission and staff for the opportunity to present and for consideration of site plan approval. I'll turn it over to Tessa. Thank you, Tessa.
Yeah, so just to go over the site plan a little bit, we have one proposed access point onto Cleveland
Can I
Road.
get you closer to the
Oh,
microphone?
sorry. We have one proposed access point onto Cleveland Road for this site. At this access point, we are proposing a dedicated right turn lane into the site and a bypass lane so that traffic is least affected on Cleveland Road. And we are holding ourselves to a parking ratio of 1 space per 1,000 gross floor area, 1,000 square feet of gross floor area, which is the code requirement for a nursing home. And while this is an assisted living facility and not a nursing home, we feel that it's applicable in this case. All of our utilities, water, electric, gas, and sanitary will enter the building through a utility room on the northeast corner of the building, and our stormwater detention will be provided on the west side via an infiltration basin. That's it.
Great. I notice there's quite a bit of comments in here from the planning department, the
Yes.
engineering department, the electrical department, the water department. There's a lot of comments and edits and things like that, and rather than read them all, but you're in agreement with
Yes,
everything that's
yes,
in
we are
this.
working to incorporate all of them right now. We have no
Okay.
issues.
Any other questions?
You have no issues, you said? No issues with those recommendations, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of, nope, I forgot, site plan, where there's no public hearing. Does any commissioners wish to speak on this? Nope. Then I will take a motion on site plan 24-10.
You mean 11?
11.
Whoop, 24-11.
Motion to approve site plan 2411?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Mike Portalese?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and 24-11 passes. And the reason I said 10 is because my trusty pencil, the lead ran out on the one and I couldn't see my check mark. So I'm all off on things. All right, moving on to design review. We have the last item on the agenda, which is design review 24-09, a request submitted by Women's Care Center requesting a design review waiver for architectural colors at 605 Lincoln Way East. Hi.
Hi, I'm Andy Mollison with Alliance Architects, 929 Lincoln Way East, South Bend, Indiana. And the Women's Care Center would like the Planning Commission to consider the color scheme, which has been selected for the building. We requested a design waiver earlier in the year, and in order to do a couple of other changes on the building, the three-tone scheme that we have now was trying to accommodate the ordinance, which didn't want any pink colors on the building. And so what's actually out there now, we've actually applied the August sunrise color on the building. So it's, and the tan material that's on the building presently is what was originally approved by the city. So we'd just like the city to consider what's out there now, and if that color is acceptable and within the intention of the zoning ordinance, Women's Care Center would really like all the siding to be one color, so we have a simplified two-tone scheme.
So which part is actually going to be the pink?
Everything that's not stone. So right now, of course, these images, it's so subtle. The difference between the tan and the August sunrise is pretty subtle. But basically, everything that is horizontal siding would be
Okay, the horizontal
August
siding.
sunrise.
So
Yep.
no brick or stone or anything's going to be painted pink?
Oh, correct. Absolutely.
Okay.
That will be a natural stone color that. Yep. And I think there was a sample board that we dropped off with the Planning Commission, so those materials are there, so you can kind of see them together. And I don't know, and to be honest, I'm not sure if any of the stone has been put on the building yet, but the siding has been up. At least the two colors of the siding are there.
Mr. President, I would note that the brick is up, the paint is in place, so that if you drove by it, the correct color of the pink is in place, the correct color of the brick is in place, and the horizontal siding that they want to paint is in place as previously approved. So they're only looking to paint the horizontal siding, that is the third color, as was identified. So it's all in place right now, it's all constructed. The building looks very nice. They're just looking to paint the horizontal siding that was approved previously as a different color.
It also sounds like you're encouraging me to look right and left when I drive too, huh? Look around at our city
So
event.
just stop, park, and walk around.
Just come, I drive by the building every morning, and it's a very welcome addition there. It looks great. So I fully support what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Thank you for the presentation. Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Design Review 24-09? Hearing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the Design Review 24-09? Is there any additional information, Mr. City Planner?
None.
With that, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll take a motion on Design Review 24-09.
Make a motion, we approve Design Review 2409.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Mike Portalese?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and Design Review 24-09 passes. Mr. City Planner, is there any old business?
Mr. President, if I may jump in.
Sure.
I just wanted to provide an update on the comprehensive plan questionnaire.
Okay.
We do have preliminary results for that. I am waiting for our elected officials. We have 6 of 11 that have submitted their questionnaires. I want to give them a little more time for that. But we expect to have the results definitely before your next meeting. You'll have a summary, and I think you'll find some of the results pretty interesting in terms of what people identified as high priorities moving forward. Then moving forward, we'll have our consultant prepare maps, graphing, and specific information based on the questionnaire, and then we'll dig into the goals and objectives really at the start of 2025.
And thank you, Mr. Prince, our Executive Director. I really appreciate the work you put into this as well, and the organization you had behind it as those questions and things went out to various committees and those types of things. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And a thank you to this staff that helped write and do some of the questions, particularly Mike Portalese leading that effort on this body. Is there any other old business?
None.
Is there any new business?
None.
Privilege of the floor. Does anybody wish to speak on anything that is a non-agenda item tonight? None? Then I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn offered.